What is up, people? Welcome back to the Slip and Dip podcast. This is episode number 33, coming at you on the heels of a hell of a fight weekend. UFC, Bellator, kickboxing, glory, boxing, everything under the sun. Lomachenko making fighters quit on the stool. Again. I am Matthew Wells. Alongside me, as always, Kendrick Johnson, sitting across the room from me. Man, on this weekend where we had a lot of different fights going on, man, I gotta know, man, what was the biggest takeaway or the thing that stuck with you the most out of this weekend?
That's about time that people finally realize that Vasily Lomachenko is for real. I've been on that bandwagon for the last year, and then when I try to break down some people and say what's going on and all that good stuff, as you know, MMA and boxing are two different things, but they have some of the principles. But he's proven to the world every time he go out there, he's that dude.
Yeah, he is that dude, man. And I think a lot of people, obviously, that are in the boxing world or that are in the combat sports world know what's up. But it's always refreshing to see more people be like, "Oh wow, it's like that." Yeah, it's like that. It's like that. He's making gold medalists quit. And this dude, I mean, listen.
Oh no, we gotta take stuff further. Don't listen to Stephen A. Smith. He don't know shit when it comes to boxing. Oh, he made Nicholas Walters quit, and he just want to come over and hunt the man. How can you just do that? No, the real story is Nicholas Walters was whooping everybody's ass, including Nonito Donaire, knocked him out, busting, running everybody through. He was that man. He was the boogeyman at 126. Well, he saw the real boogeyman. Quits on his stool. He's too good. He quits. That fight was over a year ago. Hand fought since. That's how you know you doing things when you changing people's careers.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what Stephen A. Smith said about this fight because I wasn't listening to him. I saw him on the broadcast before the fight. Saw him on the broadcast after the fight. It was muted. I mean, I wasn't listening to what he's saying, so I have no idea what he said. It could have been the most competent thing in the world. It could have been incompetent. Judging by Twitter, it turns out that it was not the most educated things that he was saying.
Yeah. Look at my pinned tweet. Him and Ted Atlas. Ted Atlas said giving a school. So you might have a degree, but you can't see when it comes to the sweet science.
Man, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Listen, man, I like Stephen A. when he does some things, more so when it's like basketball stuff. I think that's my favorite version of Stephen A. when he's talking basketball. But yeah, man, like the biggest thing for me for Lomachenko, man, is just how much he looks light years ahead of everybody in there, man. And it's fascinating to see. Like, I'm following the fight. I'm watching the fight and following along on social media and seeing all these other fighters. They're just in awe of what they're watching. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. And he's in there just toying with dudes.
Who's the man that told you about this man a year ago about how good he was?
Hey, I mean, you weren't wrong. And I mean, like this headline right here, like I got the Deadspin article pulled up on our video feed here, and it's the title is Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux was never even close to competitive. And that's so true. Did you see the CompuBox numbers on this fight?
I had to. When the fight was signed, like I told you, he's too small, too slow, and he's too old.
Yeah. This dude landed 15 punches. And apparently after landing 7 punches, he hurt his hand.
that was the funny joke of the night. How the hell you sitting there shaking your right hand, talking about no mas way, and then all of a sudden you sitting there talking to Joe Gestator and all them ESPN, my boy, shout out to my Bernardo Osuna, Senor Osuna and them in the ring, and he's shaking your left hand. So which one is it? You only land 7 punches. You can't bust a grade, but you broke your hand.
I honestly, I feel bad for Rigo, man. Listen, if you hurt your hand after landing 7 punches, that's some terrible luck. It's terrible luck. Hopefully, they'll do a rematch in the future. Maybe he won't hurt his hand. Maybe it'll be a different fight.
He don't want none of that no more.
I hope everyone detected that sarcasm. I hope your sarcasm meter was going off right then, because that is the poorest excuse. Hashtag no Moschenko. Throw it out there, people. Throw it out there. Retweet it. Throw it out there. No Moschenko is the real deal. But let's talk about some UFC action, man. It went down. UFC Fresno, main event, Cub Swanson, Brian Ortega, T-City.
That's like the new nickname of nicknames in UFC. Like I heard of his name, but it's like people have some pep to their step. T City, T City, T City.
Like you told me about Lomachenko before I really actually knew who Lomachenko was. I was telling you about T City.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. I was telling you about T City. You were like, "Who's T City?"
T City's legit. T City did what he had to do. T City he should be fighting for a belt soon. But T City did not want another Max Holloway. He made too many mistakes. Max Holloway's not gonna let him off the gas. It ain't gonna be no comeback. It won't be no comeback.
I'll tell you this: I don't care who it is. Nobody wants to clinch up with Brian Ortega. Nobody in that division.
His transition was ridiculous.
He's ridiculous.
He's a younger version of Damon Maya with some okay hands.
That's what happens when you're with some, he's got good hands too. I mean, he getting
tackled. Like he can knock people out.
Yeah.
But his hand. Well, I mean, hands is like he takes too much punishment. So his hand, like just because people can knock somebody out, I mean they got hands. I think he has power. Yeah. But he don't got hands.
He wasn't respecting the power of Swanson, which is crazy because like in his previous fight before that, he was showing more defensive ability when it was on the feet, but he was letting Cub hit him.
No, and like before he clinched up, hit him on that body. Cub was
not to the body, not to the body. Yes,
he was that.
No,
if it
those body shots were
round, I think Cub could have got him. He could have got him another round.
I agree there. The body shots were hurting. But when I'm talking about like the head shots, he usually doesn't let himself get hit that much in the head. But before he clinched up with Cub that final time, he was just walking through everything. Like he's like Cub is swinging, like. It seemed like he was putting everything into these punches. But Brian was like, he was rolling with him and still kept coming forward. Gotcha. Give me that neck. And it's over.
He caught up and then he was like on his back and then he's like in the air, boy, just
kicked off the fence to readjust. And then started slipping again, used the fence again to tighten it up. Man, it was just so impressive.
At the end of the first round. If there's 5 more seconds, love Cub fought a good fight, but if it was 5 more seconds, Cub don't get out. Cub was literally fighting for his life.
Yeah, he slapped on that darts out of nowhere, man, and that was so slick because usually when you see a fighter slap on the darts like that from that angle, like it's usually pretty loose, and they have to adjust. No, he locked it in from the jump, and you saw that on Cub's face as soon as the camera was in the perfect angle. Because he was like zoomed in, like his Cub was like, oh, like from the get go, and then of course he tried to transition a little bit more and lock it up, but luckily for Cub he survived the round, but we all know what happened shortly after that. But Brian Ortega's looking like a beast, man. What else on this card impressed you?
Co-main, I'm
Benitez, Jason Knight.
What?
That was a weird fight. That was a
very odd fight. The Benitez guy did what he had to do, but I've never seen nobody just because he was feeling the fans, so he was feeling himself. Like he stuffed Jason Knight's takedowns. He was beating him to the punch, but he ain't no killer. I think you get him out of there. I think you get him out of there.
Tell you why last night.
He hurt the man like 3 or 4 times.
I tried to tell you why last night. He was actually being very smart. I was glad he didn't do what you're talking about because Jason Knight.
You got that skill set.
Jason Knight loves that. He wants you to start coming in for the finish because that's where he's gonna try to catch you with something crazy. You see all of like the rolls that he was doing for leg locks and everything. Jason Knight is that type of dude that he wants there to be chaos because that's what he thrives in. And Gabriel Benitez was smart enough to recognize, hey, this guy excels in that type of environment, so I'm just gonna score and get out of range before, because there's a moment where he hit him. I think he hit him with a 3-piece that was nice, and Jason Knight just kind of backed up and then kind of stuck his tongue out at him. And he was smart enough to recognize he didn't really have him hurt. He didn't really have him hurt though, so I think he did the smart thing and just kind of backed off and reset and just kept scoring.
But what I look at it is, okay, you let him fight Cub or Ortega, they get him out of there. They didn't care about, he cares about chaos.
Different level of fighters.
Huh?
For sure, different level of fighters. I mean, but again, that's Jason Knight's highlights are in those moments, so I'll give Gabe the benefit of the doubt on this one. I mean, the man did get bit. We had a bite of the night. And then got eye poked.
That was great. The ref whoever Kinfolk name is, Kinfolk trying to get him a permanent job. He like, that's gonna be my ass. His mechanics and everything. Hey, but he needs to get hurt on some brush-up lessons. Point right here, he's big. No warning, he should know. Boom, boom. You ready? You got 5 minutes. His hands, his mechanics and stuff was on point. He was giving a clinic on how to referee MMA.
He was air traffic controlling in there.
This is something that's popped in my head. What do you think about when people call MMA UFC? It's kind of funny. It's funny to me. I just nod because I know what they're talking about. But like, I remember Misha Tate was doing an interview and she's like, "I don't fight UFC. I fight MMA." But
that's one of the age old things.
Kind of, huh?
That's one of the age old things, man. People interchange the two like it's.
Because nobody, I get to the point. Nobody says. So do you fight Bellator?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like it's a different sport altogether. I mean, it's essentially like the senior tour in a lot of respects when it comes to their big names. But
speaking of big names, man, I'm gonna go big, man. 2018, we working on trying to get somebody like Jay Glaze on the show. But we're working on getting people that got like 40 and 50 million Twitter followers that he's associated with. Man, huge guest. That's some future episodes down the line. Trying to nail some mega stars.
Well, as we grow the show, eventually we'll have millions of followers. That's the idea, right?
Hey, we need y'all send no comments and concerns and tweets, good or bad. We open over here.
No doubt, man. Yeah, hear from us. Hit us up on Twitter. On the screen there, if you're watching on the YouTube, all the ats are right there for you. Kendrick at Kendrick Johnson, me at Mr. M. Wells Art, the show at Slip and Dip Podcast. And hit us up, let us know how we're doing. We want your feedback, we want to hear from you. I do have to, man, shout out to Marlon Moraes, man. Hell of a knockout.
I was thinking of myself.
It sucks to see my boy Aljo get knocked out like that. It sucks to see anybody get knocked out like that.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
It's part of the game, man. But damn, that was such a vicious knockout.
That made me KO the end.
Vicious knockout. And, oh my God.
You know, you used to knock out, like people talk about the walk off. My man waved it off himself. that make him that extra point. You look at KOs in the air when the fighter himself waves it off. You know it's a bad.
Come on now, you know that's not what really happened. Right, his body was completely shut off. I like it actually pissed me off because somebody like on the internet was quick because his arm kind of fell over his face and somebody edited and said something like dab on him. Like they threw like that thing on. Like, come on, bro. Like this dude just got his life. Like he just got knocked into the upside down, bro.
The dab you talk about is my boy Dak. When he threw that to Dez, he dabbed twice on it. Did you see that today?
I was on a roller coaster of emotions there today, dude. Man. We are recording this podcast on Sunday night, and I was real frustrated when the Cowboys and the Giants that score was 10-10 for so long. I was like, oh my God.
Hey, it's all about the W.
It's all about the W. Yeah, they pulled it out, man. But I'm glad to hear Aljo is doing good. It was a scary moment, man. They had to carry him out and everything, but I'm glad to see he's doing all right. Hopefully, no major repercussions, in the aftermath. But Marlon Moraes, man, he's a dude that was a champion outside of the UFC. Come in, knock out people like that, you begin to find yourself in a title shot pretty soon. But it's what it is when it comes to that stuff, man. All in all, though, listen, I know the UFC is having issues with like trying to get their asking price for this TV deal.
I think they're going to switch it from Fox. I think Fox stays at dwindling.
Whatever it is, they got to figure out a way to not make cards go so long into the night. It was freaking midnight here, Central Time, damn near midnight Central Time at the end of Ortega Swanson.
I think that what they're going to have to do, regardless of what they're taking, is all prelims are going to, unless it's a pay-per-view, like the way they do the pay-per-view, like, they have the prelims on there. They should do that the main card just like that and go on about their business.
I just hate that there's so much filler. I hate all the filler stuff, man. Like the Fight Pass pacing is great until like you run into like they still do the two different streams on Fight Pass where it's like the Fight Pass prelims and then the Fight Pass main card. So like if there's all finishes on the Fight Pass prelims, there is filler until you get to that time slot for the main card. But then after that, it's smooth sailing. So they got to figure out a way to do that on the televised cards like the FS1s and the Foxes, because that shit is so frustrating. You're sitting there for 6 fights that start at 9 p.m. Central Time, 6 fights over at damn near midnight Central Time. Come on, man, you got to do better with that. Figure out a way to do it better. Just saying, you know. So we do have a big show for you guys, man. We're so far into this already. We just talking about what happened this past weekend. We forgot to mention our guests at the top of the show. What was that signal? What?
There's something fine, but we're going to keep it at 2.
Oh, we're keeping it at 2? Keeping it at 2. All right. So we do have two guests on this episode. Coming off her win at the Ultimate Fighter, Miss Shana Dobson. Shana Danger Dobson.
Don't call her Shana. She throw that 2B she threw on Ariel. Don't want that in your life.
Yeah, Kendra got, I just say...
Almost. I was on the line. I slipped a dip.
Kendrick almost got TKO'd in the green room of the episode. She almost came through Skype and reached to Kendrick's throat. Shana.
Shana, I got it.
Oh my God, Miss Shana Dobson is on the show today, and she gives some great stuff about her experiences on The Ultimate Fighter, and also we have our man Louis Smolka, who's getting ready to fight at UFC 219. Big pay-per-view to close out the year.
Good interview, man. Making life changes, trying to do the right thing, and hopefully he get the W. And he's just a funny guy with stories.
Yeah,
we got stories.
Louis is cool, man. I'll tell you this story real quick. The first time I met Louis was at the MGM Grand Lobby with me and a couple other buddies, Jim Edwards and a couple other dudes, and we just ran into Louis in the lobby, and never met the guy in person before. Never interviewed the guy, before. He had no idea who we were, other than we had our equipment that said, MMA latest on it. We're like, hey man, you want to go do an interview? And he's like, yeah, sure, I'm not doing anything. And of course, he was like mid weight cut. I guess he was in between, training. And he was like, yeah, let's go do it. And went up to the room, did an interview, and he's been cool since, man. You guys are gonna enjoy that interview for sure. And he's got some unique ideas that I want you guys to listen and give us some feedback on and see what you guys think about it. But that's what we got coming up for you. Anything else before we get into these interviews, Kendrick?
No, man, we ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock and roll. All right, guys. Well, once again, hit us up on Twitter. We want their feedback. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the like button on the YouTube stream as well. And enjoy these interviews. Miss Danger Dobson and Louis Smolka. Don't call him Luis. He gets pissed when you call him Luis. Again, let me correct people. Louis Smolka. So these are two important first names you guys need to get right out there, or otherwise I'm gonna come at you. Ain't that right, Kendrick?
All right. You gonna be slipping and dipping.
Yes. All right, guys. Here we go. Episode 33 coming at you. Enjoy the rest of the show. Until next time, peace.
Once again, Slip and Dip podcast delivered once again. This week we have Louis Smolka in the house, the last Samurai Warrior. Thanks for joining the Slip and Dip, Louis.
No problem, guys. What's up, Matt? What's up, Kendrick? How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. No complaints, man. Coming on a Sunday night. Hopefully we didn't, catch you too busy or anything over there.
Oh, no. We're just hanging out at my parents' house. My daughter's over here being annoying. But yeah, it's all good.
Nice.
It's middle day, but he in that Hawaii time, boy, at 4 o'clock.
That's true. That is true.
Louis, talk about the momentum with all y'all Hawaiian fighters. Does that inspire you? See what Max and Yancey and all them did last week? Or is it just kind of like they doing their thing and you doing your thing separate? Or you take pride in that too because you're part of that Hawaiian MMA?
I'm pretty stoked for them. Those are my boys. I see them a lot. We cross train a lot together and stuff. I'm super stoked for them. I'm really happy for what they did, and I kind of want to carry that momentum over. I don't want to be the Hawaii guy to drop the ball. You know what I mean? We want UFC Hawaii out here, so I got to go out there and perform.
How big a deal is it to get a win and get back on that winning streak with your fight you got coming up?
Yeah, it's pretty important. I've kind of dropped 3 in a row. I mean, it's a pretty big deal to get this one. I kind of need this one.
Yeah, man, it's a pretty big fight for you coming up. I mean, not only you have the losing streak, but I mean, you've kind of been everywhere with the UFC, man. I mean, you headlined a card, so and then of course you hit a little few bumps in the road, but I mean, this is a pretty big card you're on. Last pay per view of the year, big headliners. How has your training been so far heading up to this fight?
It's been pretty good. I mean, I'm sober for like the first time in a while, so that's kind of nice. And able to eat more and stuff, and have a little more energy during camp. I'm a little lighter too, so that's pretty cool.
Oh wow! So what's been the deal with that? What prompted the big change? To for.
Oh, because I was just losing, so I was like, all right, okay, I have to stop drinking. Like, all right, guys. Pushed my luck hard enough. Like I was working for a long time. Like I could just get drunk and still win. So I was like, all right, I'm still winning. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so I guess I started losing, and I'm like, all right, okay, I actually gotta like not drink now.
So that was like, you were drinking like during camp and stuff, like leading up to the fights, or what was going on?
I would just pretty much like black out until like 2 weeks out, and then I would stop for the weight cut.
Wow. That's
So
crazy, man.
But they said we're seeing a recommitted last summer round coming into the octagon in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you'll probably see me looking a bit happier during fight week and stuff, a bit more. Yeah, I guess I'll probably care a lot. I care a lot more. I'm a lot more committed for this one. I've actually been running. I went running today for like the first time in like a year and a half. So yeah, I'm working a lot harder for this.
Nice. So you got the sobriety, working up the cardio. What other changes have been going on, man? It sounds like you've got this whole new outlook on things going on.
Yeah, it's kind of life, I guess I'm growing up a little bit, just acting like a child for a while. So I'm trying to like grow up, I guess. I mean, we opened up our own gym too, so I've been having to coach kids a lot, and it's kind of, giving me some perspective.
Nice. Has parenthood helped you out with that as well?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's helped me out a lot. Like my kid's actually getting older now. She can like walk around and talk and stuff. She's getting like her own little personality. So it's definitely like kind of, I need to send her to college and stuff. She's gonna need a car in like a few years. So I mean, I gotta get these wins.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's all important stuff. Of course, being on the biggest stage, racking up those wins will help with that. I mean, has she shown interest in the sport yet, or is she still too young and she's still trying to figure out her own path?
I'm not exactly sure. Like when we get together and watch the fights and stuff, like she'll come around and like she'll watch the TV with us, and when we're like, ooh, we're like, oh shit, she'll go, ooh, like. But I'm not sure if she's just like following like what everybody else is doing, or she's actually watching.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of hard to tell at that age.
Yeah, it's just
Got a couple of nieces. It's like they are kind of like they do that copycat thing. You can't really tell what they're really interested in.
Yeah, like are they following the social cues, or are they like actually interested in what's happening? It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
Lewis, give us some insight to what's your take on the landscape of your division. Well, of course, you got Mighty Mouse as the kingpin, but like you fought two guys that fighting for the title in the last year.
Yeah, I honestly think that I can catch Demetrius. I mean, I don't know. I thought he took kind of long with Borg. I thought, like, I don't know. I think it might be, like, I might be able to get him. We'll see what happens with TJ, and we'll see. Like, I mean, who knows what'll happen with that fight. And, I mean, might have to try to take out TJ, or if it becomes, like, an instant rematch kind of thing. And who knows what's going to happen, So, I mean, the big question mark, I think, is, like, the TJ super fight. And then we'll see from there,
What is your opponent that you fight next? What does he possess? What challenges does he possess? Or do you feel like you have advantages all over wherever the fight goes?
He's dangerous. He's a Brazilian guy, so he's a taijutsu fighter. That's what I call him. Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, kind of like wrestle boxers. I call them taijutsu fighters.
Nice.
I'm trademarking that phrase, by the way. Every time you guys use that from now on, you guys owe me $1. But
you coined it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's dangerous. I know Brazilians, they're really good at game planning. They're responsible for some of like the biggest, like, I guess you could say, like, change like wrinkles in game planning, like in MMA. Like they were the first ones to start like kind of like like sprawling, brawling with a Muay Thai style. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of using the range point fighting as opposed to engaging, I guess you could say. So they're like they possess really good game planning. So that's always interesting to see what they bring to the table. And also he's got a black belt in jiu-jitsu, which is kind of like I'm kind of excited but kind of scared at the same time because it's my first black belt, you know, like to go up against in an octagon. So that's kind of like I'm kind of scared but I'm kind of excited at the same time, you know. And then he's got real good kickboxing too. So I mean, he's got challenges everywhere. Honestly, he possesses a bunch of weapons, but I mean, I'm just gonna do my best to try to like overcome it, you know.
Do you feel like you have to be technical to be able to get the W, get your hand raised?
Um, I feel like I could do it a number of ways. I mean, I want to believe that I probably have like a number of advantages. I'm not too sure about the grappling advantage because, like I said, it's my first black belt, so I don't really know. I mean, I'm like a good grappler, but he's got a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I haven't gone up against that yet, so you know what I mean. It's kind of like is my ground really good enough, you know? But I'm pretty confident. I feel like there's certain areas I'd like to exploit, certain things that he does that I think that I could try to capitalize on. I don't really want to give too much away of my game plan, but yeah, I feel like I have a few ways to win this.
So I see, he hadn't fought in over a year. Like it's been a year, and it's going to be a year and 4 months, 5 months when you guys actually get in there. I mean, do you know why it's been so long since you've been in there, or?
I fought in April, bro.
No, not you. Your opponent. Nicolo.
He's on suspension, right? He got caught for like some kind of metabolic enhancer or something. I can't exactly remember what it was, but I want to say it's like a metabolic enhancer.
Yeah, I just saw on his Tapology page it was a USADA violation. So it doesn't obviously say exactly what it was, but does that kind of thing like worry you at all, or
Bro, everybody's on steroids. Ask Nick Diaz, bro. Ask Nick and Nate Diaz.
Everybody's on steroids. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Being so long though. I mean, you've been the more active fighter. You think that plays any advantage for you?
Maybe. I mean, with young fighters, you kind of never really know what's gonna happen. Like, I mean, you think he's like 23, 24, something like that. But like with young guys, you never really like know what's gonna happen. He could be like a completely different fighter from the last time he fought, just because like the evolution of being so young. He's gonna learn like a lot of things pretty quickly. So I'm not really too sure how this is gonna play out. He might have a whole new bag of tricks, or like he might be a little gun shy because he hasn't been in there in a while. Who knows? I mean, Marlon Moraes is his boy, and Moraes just had a huge knockout, so maybe he'll be fired up off that, like how I'm fired up off Max and Yancey. Who knows, dude? It's fighting, right? You don't really know what's gonna happen.
Are you prepared to get in one of those kind of Mexican style showdowns? You hit me, I hit you type battles that everybody like to see?
Oh, I'm always down for that. I'm down for whatever, dude. I'm ready for war. Let's go. I'm ready for war every time. I'm here to try to win bonuses. I need that money, like I said.
So are you more motivated to get like a fight of the night type thing, or are you or it's about the win? Because some people, like Cowboy,
I'm trying to get the win, obviously, but I'm not trying to be boring either. You get what I'm saying? Like, like most people say, oh, this is about the win. It's because their fight sucked. So they're like, this is my excuse of why my fight sucked. It's because I needed the win. And it's a valid reason, but it's like people don't really want to watch you fight if you pull shit like that,
Yeah, but tell me this then, because I'm one of the few people that cover MMA and boxing, and I see people from the Mayweathers, the Canelos, to people like GSP in the cage. Why do you think fans think it's cool to get hit? And as a fighter, do you think it's cool to get hit since that seems to be what everybody like versus getting that technical win where you don't get hit, but it's not that entertaining?
Well, I think it's just a kind of, I think it's kind of how you present yourself. So like, if you say you're going to do something, people want to see if you can get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like, like if you say you're gonna go out there and get into a brawl, then get into a brawl, you know. But if you say, "Oh, I'm gonna go out there and submit this guy," and then you go out there and you submit them, people still want to watch you fight because, like Damian Maya, he doesn't really slug, but like he goes out there and he's like, "I'm gonna out grapple you." So we're like, "All right, prove it," and he does, and we're like, "Oh shit, I want to see that again. Can you do it to somebody else?" You know.
Gotcha.
I think it's just about like backing up your talk, you know, like kind of staying real and true to your brand. That's what people want to see, you know.
What you think about that T City chokeout of Cub last night?
Dude, Brian Ortega is dangerous, man. Like, I mean, just the way he fights, because he just walks forward at you and tries to grab a hold of you, and he has good like defense from his boxing. Like he gets hit, but it's not really like rocking him or shaking him. He's not like, it doesn't look like he takes very much damage. He kind of knows how to like absorb it and come forward, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, that's what was shocking me. Like right before he, grabbed a hold of Cub and pushed him against the fence, and initiated that clinch. I was just in awe of like he was taking so many punches and kept coming forward, like, and he was like rolling with them really well, and
yeah,
and he was just like it felt that he was like he made the decision that it was like, you're gonna punch me, but I'm gonna keep walking forward, and I'm eventually gonna set up this clinch, and then try to either get it to the ground or do what he did, jump on that guillotine. That was pretty impressive.
Dude, he's so fast and so fluid too. Like the transitions and stuff were so fluid. Like, did you see how quickly he locked up the gator roll in the beginning? Like he almost got Cub. If Cub didn't have time, he would have went out. He was freaking out, dude, at the end of that first.
Oh yes, he sure was. He definitely. If he had 5 more seconds, I don't think he survives.
Oh, it was sick.
And he only initiated the clinch with like 15 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like that was right when they touched each other. It was about the 15-second mark, and he already had like at the end of in 15 seconds he has Cub like fearing for his life. You know?
Yeah, you saw that look on his face like as soon as he locked it up.
Yeah, like it was so fast, and you watch like the hand rhythm he did, like kind of like get the clinch, slide the like block, trap the elbow in the head, slide the arm in, lock it down. Holy shit, that was quick.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. So, like, how often do you guys, when you see something like what you saw, like, on Saturday night, or, for example, someone in your weight class, like when Demetrius Johnson does, that mousetrap submission, like, how often...
That's not the mousetrap from his... He said that wasn't the mousetrap.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to call it. Everybody dubbed it the mousetrap.
Lewis on your air quotes.
I mean, it is what it is. But like, my question is like, when you guys see that kind of stuff, like, how often do you guys actually go in the gym and practice that kind of thing?
Oh, dude, we immediately try it. The next day, we were immediately trying to do the suplex to armbar thing. Like we were immediately trying it. Like just like the Anderson Silva front kick. The next day, everyone's trying it. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. Like. Or even the Anthony Pettis kick off the cage back in like WEC. As soon as it happens, everyone wants to try it,
Yeah, it's a copycat sport in that regard, I guess. Because I mean, I remember that like when I was training, it was like the same thing, man. It was like the next day, like we couldn't wait to get to class on like Tuesday, and we're like, everybody's gonna try what we just saw.
Yeah, well, I think part of that is because MMA is such a new sport, so there's still like a lot of like uncharted ground, like unmapped ground of what will work, what won't work,
For sure.
Like, I mean, at some point, some guy might figure out how to make Wing Chun work. You know what I mean? Like, if they're really good at it, like Anderson was, like kind of how he was deflecting shots and stuff, and like blocking, kind of.
Yes.
Like some guy might figure out how to make Wing Chun work. Some guy might figure out how to make Aikido work. Like, like I mean, there's people doing judo throws and stuff to each other. It's just there's so much of the sport that hasn't been mapped yet and hasn't really been like the gaps between martial arts and between situations hasn't been mapped with all the possibilities involved. So if you looked at it like kind of like I have this like theory and like diagrams and stuff, and I probably have to put it on paper to be understood, but there's a lot that still needs to be like mapped out, and so for us, so when we see something that hasn't been mapped yet, everybody wants to try it,
Dang.
On the financial side, Lewis, what do you think? Did you go to that fighter summit that they had for y'all, the fighter retreat?
Yeah, I went. That was pretty fun. Everybody was just drunk, dude. I don't know if that was a good idea.
Did you see the cyborg incident live?
No, we were all on the bus cracking up like kids though. Everybody was trying to get the video. I was with Michael Chiesa and I think Khalil Roundtree and who is it? Um, Juliana Pena had the video for us. Like she was a couple seats up and we were all talking about it. We're like, what the fuck? What? And Juliana Pena's like, yep, I got the video, boys, here. And I was like, oh shit, you do shit. Like it was fucking hilarious. It's totally shit up the kids heights trying to like watch this fight go down.
Yeah, we just thought that was funny because she walked up on it like you do like a gangster in the street. Say, you don't respect no body? Fuck you, papa!
Oh my god, man.
Dude, and you know when that guy was freaking out, like talking shit to the Reebok guy and the Budweiser rep. Oh, what is his name? Cajun Johnson.
Yeah.
Dude, sitting right next to me, and she's like, "You go up and say something." I was like, why would you? Say At the same time, it's Cyborg, so you don't want to cross any lines. You know what I'm saying? Just like, you know what I mean? Like you don't want to get too out of line.
Yeah, I mean, hell, if Cyborg tells you to do something, you might want to think at least twice. At least think twice about it.
I didn't want to be put on the spot like that, but at the same time, do you want to tell Cyborg no? So I was like,
Yeah, man. So, what other crazy stories do you have from that retreat, man? You said everybody was drunk, so I mean, something else crazy had to happen that we don't know about.
yeah, I heard Al Iaquinta destroyed like a hotel room, and he was like getting into it with like every other guy. Like he was like calling out people and like talking shit to people. Like I don't really know because I kind of like I'm kind of cool with like those guys like John Volante, Aljo, them. Like I kind of hang out with them. I've gotten drunk with John like a couple of times. So I mean like they're really cool to me, you know. But like I guess Al was kind of like on his like just on something, and he was just like I'm fucking not taking shit from nobody. We're gonna like squash a beat or we settle some shit right now. And I guess he was getting off on his own thing. I don't know.
Did you see the unfortunate knockout of Aljo last night? You think that's a
Yeah.
KO? You think that's a KO of the year, man?
I don't know, but man, I felt kind of bad. But I was like, oh, fuck, it's my boy, dude. But
Yeah,
it happens. You get caught. That's what it is.
yeah, that one kind of sucked, man. Because I've talked to Aljo a lot of times, you know, in person and in interviews and whatnot. He's always been real nice, real humble, and to see a guy out there that that you kind of almost become friends with get knocked out like that is kind of crazy, man. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's a brutal sport. At the end of the day, it can always happen. And I was about to tweet out. I remember sitting there right before the fight happened. I was about to tweet something about, it's going to be a tough fight for Aljo as long as he doesn't get caught. And then I was going to say, Aljo's never really been one to get like hit really hard though. All of his fights, he usually manages his distance really well. He stays safe away from big shots, and then boom.
I mean, that's the nature of the sport, dude. Like you don't get out of the training room injury free every time, and you don't get out of fights like unscathed every time. Like that's how it goes.
So dangerous. It's a crazy sport, man.
Lewis, my co-host over here is really big on what you do after you get your win. So when they're talking to you in the octagon after the fight, are you have some surprise for us? Because you seem to be a nice, chill dude. Are you gonna call out somebody or something like that to try to get that next fight lined up?
We're trying to make UFC Hawaii happen. From what I can tell, like down here, like all the local like news outlets and all the promotions are all about UFC Hawaii right now. So nice. I'll be pushing for that if I get the win.
Hashtag UFC Hawaii. Where is everybody trying to get this fight to happen though? Like what venue would it happen at down there?
I think it has to be there. We have like a college stadium, Aloha Stadium. I think that's where it's gonna have to be because the other stadiums are a little too small. I think like max capacity for the other two is around 13, maybe 15. So that sounds like a little small. From what I can tell, logistics is gonna be a big issue, like just shipping down all the personnel and their like equipment, like the lights, rigging, and all that stuff. So I'm assuming it's going to be Aloha Stadium so that they can sell enough tickets to cover those costs. That's from what I've like been hearing.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like I was actually having a conversation with some of our other friends. Jim Edwards, right? We've actually, you've hung out with me and Jim before out in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I was talking with him last night about how I love the smaller venues because the smaller venues, like when they had those events at the Cosmopolitan, those super small venues, there's something special about that where it's like a very small crowd and it's like you can hear so much more of what's going on inside the cage. I think there's something special about that. I wish they would do those more. Like the Tough Finale was a small venue at the theater in Vegas.
Maybe, but I mean, like, just like cost wise to get stuff here, I think it's gonna have to be a big show.
Yeah, they got to make up for it. For sure, for sure. Obviously, they would have you on there. They would have Max on there. I'd assume, right? No.
Yeah, probably. I mean, just like also too, Hawaii has such like a deep, like we have like a rich fighting history out here. We have a rich martial arts history. Say hi, Lucy. Say bye, Lucy. Yeah, but
got a cameo.
yeah, we have like a really rich fighting history out here. Like Anderson Silva's fought out here. Frank Triggs fought out here. BJ fought like a bunch of the Gracies out here. Like we have like really deep fighting history out here, and so like guys from here have fought like Pride, the UFC, like just all over the world, and like we've been on board with MMA for like years, and so for us, like I feel like if we're gonna have a UFC, it should be a really big deal. Like don't give us no like candy ass little shit. Like do it for real,
Yeah, I mean you got to do it big, especially with the movement. Like you guys are making it a big thing, man, and obviously
that's mostly, bro. Give credit to Max. This is Max's like dream child right here. UFC always been his thing. Dude, give credit to Max. This is like mostly Max is doing, in my opinion.
Max's baby.
Yeah, this is Max's like dream. This is Max's baby.
It is what it is. UFC Hawaii. Get it
it's
done.
what it is. Do the damn thing. UFC Hawaii.
So you mentioned a name there that kind of made some waves this weekend. Frank Trigg. He was in there reffing this weekend. How important do you think it is for more fighters to transition into that role of refereeing the sport or becoming a judge?
Oh, I think it's very important to just push like there's many aspects of the sport forward. Like I think we need guys judging on commissions, refereeing, just honestly fighters who retire need to take like a really active part in growing the sport and regulating it, or else it's just gonna like get out of control, like I mean like with judges, like sometimes like you can see, I don't want to name names, but there's a lot of times where you're just like, bro, does this guy even know anything about fighting? Like what are you watching? Like you casual, you know what I mean? Like a lot of times it feels like we have casuals judging the sport and they're taking the livelihoods of people we've literally invested our entire lives in the sport. And we have people who probably never competed in martial arts telling us who won and lost. It's like, dog, like, are you serious? Like, you know what you're looking at? Like you see this shit happen, like, kind of a lot. Like, honestly, more than it should. And, like, that's not to say that these people aren't doing a good job, but it's just, what are the standards here? You know what I mean? Like, what is required to become a judge? Do you just fill out a piece of paper and now you're a judge? I feel like you need credentials. You need to have competed in martial arts. You need some like degrees. Like you need black belts in something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I've honestly had this idea for a long time. Like, okay, so like across the martial arts, guys are not going to agree on scoring. This is just not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be issues. There's going to be conflicts. So what I think should happen is we get a judge from one of like each of the. I want to say there's about 12 different disciplines right now in mixed martial arts that are like kind of like major styles.
Mm-hmm.
And so we should get a judge from like each of these sports to judge fights. So there's going to be about 12 guys scoring a fight, and whoever can win on the most like scorecards is going to take it, and each guy judges the fight on their own merit. So you're going to have a boxing guy who's going to award knockdowns and like volume very highly. But then you're also going to have a wrestling judge who say like one guy gets like 10 takedowns or whatever. So that guy's going to win on the wrestling judge's card. The taekwondo guy or whatever is going to judge spins and flashy kicks, maybe head kicks very highly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're going to have to win on the majority of judges' scorecards in order to take a round. That's how I think judging should be done. But I mean, well,
I'm not mad at it. I like that idea. I think there needs to be something to change. I mean, especially in MMA when we're using boxing's 10-point system in a completely different sport, there's going to be a lot of issues that arise when you have that. So, I'm not mad at that idea.
The boxing scoring system works for boxing, but when you have like a guy getting like like who is it? I think Masvidal when he fought fucking Iaquinta or whatever. That was ridiculous, dude. Like I was like, who judged this? And like I was mad because people were booing him, and it wasn't even his fault. It was like the judge's fault. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah, when when he
You
looks
know
at the
what I
ground, boo me,
who
F you.
yeah, like I mean, I don't even blame him for being upset because he did went out there, did his best, and to be like I mean, he must have felt pretty insulted. You know, I'm not even mad at the guy. It's like that was the judge's fault. You know.
Yeah, and we saw that this weekend with the Davis and Carmouche fight. Fans weren't
I
happy, so
Oh yeah.
yeah, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I mean,
Yeah.
until something changes, until we get some sort of,
I don't know. We just need more like definitive like. We need more criteria. And the criteria needs to be agreed upon by like the committee of the judges or whatever. We need I want to know what is the criteria for athletic commissions. Like
yeah,
I don't know. I just
wow.
want to know exactly. Or are you just writing a 10-9 based on how you feel? You know, did I take my antidepressant today? All right, well that was a boring fight. I didn't. So you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean that it seems that way at times, and there was a lot of questionable decisions last night as well. It's frustrating at times, man. Hopefully we see some sort of change that makes more sense for MMA in the near future.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like so you know in wrestling how they like you can see or like almost any other sport you can see the card, you can see the score as it goes up. You know, so you know. I think we should have that in MMA. Like after the first round, we all need to know exactly what judge scored what, and there should be like a scoreboard, and it should tell us, okay, this guy won the round. You know what I mean? So you can make more informed decisions. You know what I'm saying? And it'll probably lead to guys turning it up at the end of rounds. It'll make for more exciting fights, like how they do in wrestling when there's close matches at the end. You see all these wild scrambles and shit because the guys are really trying. You know?
That's true. That is true. It'd be interesting. You know.
And a final question for me, Lewis.
And I need to start these submissions. I'm retiring. I'm out. I got ideas, bro. I got.
There it is. Little Smolka. Heading it up.
Final question for me, Lewis. How big a deal is it to be back in Vegas? The fact that it's the fight capital of the world, and of course, we know you want to get the win. What type of fight are we gonna see?
I fucking hate Vegas. All right, every time I go there, I fucking come home broke. I'm hungover. I'm at the exact same Chili's gate that friggin' Hawaiian Airlines has. There's only one gate that Hawaiian Airlines uses out of Vegas. It's at the Chili's gate, and I hate that Chili's gate. Every time I'm looking at that gate, like, fuck, again? I'm gonna have to sit on this cramped ass plane again?
Dang.
Fuck Vegas. I'm just kidding. I love Vegas, dude. Oh, I'm so sick of just going home hungover, just like hating life.
I mean, Vegas is a whole different beast, man. But luckily, I mean,
Right? Dude, I'm not disciplined enough. I'm not disciplined enough as a person to handle Vegas. I shouldn't be allowed there, Alec. I don't know.
well, hopefully this trip at UFC 219 turns out very profitable for you, man. We got to get out of here. I appreciate the time, man. I look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, we gotta come back on after you get that dub, man. You gotta come back on.
I'll try, guys. I'll try to get that win for you, and then I'll come back here. We can just bullshit some more.
Absolutely. I want to dive more into this commission thing that you got working on. So get your notes ready after the fight. Right. We'll talk more about it.
All right, I'll write it down. I got my little Da Vinci notebook going on. Let's do this.
Beautiful, man. Best of luck at UFC 219, man. We'll be rooting for you. Take it easy,
All right,
man.
thank you, guys. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Kendrick.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Please welcome to the Slipping Dead Podcast. Straight off the Ultimate Fighter, Shana Danger Dobson. Please get it right, because she will throw that head kick that she threw an old girl in the fight. You don't want that in your life. Thanks for joining us on the show.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. I appreciate that.
How's your life changed in the last couple months?
Oh, man. I mean, it's been crazy. It's been surreal. Like, still, like, getting recognized, like, out on the street. It's, like, weird to me. I, like, hear my name. I'm like, oh, who, me? Like, oh, what you, look, what you want with me? Like, I'll never get used to that. But, you know, just being exposed to, you know, the UFC and what it has to offer, the level of training and just everything. And, you know, it's been a blessing. It's still surreal. Like, even getting that first fight, UFC fight out the way is still I still can't believe how blessed I am to be in this situation.
It's amazing. I mean, so talk a little bit about that experience on the show. I mean, we hear a lot of different reviews from fighters. You know, some people love it, some people hate the experience. I mean, overall, how did you take it?
I feel like everybody went through like a roller coaster of emotions where it was like, we first got there, we were so excited to be there. Then it set in like, damn, we really miss our families. Like, man, like we really are disconnected. So, to being excited and experiencing everything that they had for us. So it was a wave of emotions, but, ultimately, just taking in the training and everything that was available to us. That was the main thing, and getting an opportunity, to be a pioneer in this new 125 division for women in the UFC, for this belt, this new belt, and just taking advantage of everything that was offered to us. It was a great experience. It was ups and downs, but it was great.
Shana, how'd you stay focused and stay out with women, all the emotion and all the spilled tea everywhere with Lauren getting into it and the people getting into it with coaches? It's like you like the most well-liked person in the house. You like Switzerland. Everybody liked them some danger.
Yeah, man. All this. I wasn't set tripping and all that stuff. Blue team, green team, and all that. I thought of everybody as, of course, I had my core team, my Eddie's team, but I thought of everybody as my teammates. I got along really well with all the girls in the house. As far as the Lauren versus Eddie beef, I'm a goofball, man. So that was just entertaining to me. I was probably as entertained as the audience watching when it was all going down. It was just childish and like way blown out of proportion. But I like Lauren a lot, and I like Eddie a lot. So it was just a small thing that kind of it got a lot of attention. It wasn't a big deal. I mean, Lauren, she didn't vibe with Eddie, and that's understandable. Like, to vibe with a coach, like, it takes more than just some days. It's like finding like a partner, a significant other. So they just didn't vibe together, and he was calling her Barb, and it was just hilarious. I'll never forget when all that went down. I was really trying hard not to laugh in the camera face.
Well, was the cool thing to both get their personal redemption, both get those big wins, Ultimate Fighter Weekend, Eddie against Justin, and Lauren shocking Barb and getting that W?
Yeah, it's so ironic too, because I was talking I've been talking to Lauren, throughout the season airing, and she had another opponent, and then when all that stuff went down with Sarge and they switched around the opponents, and then Lauren ended up fighting Barb. That was so ironic to me, because on the show Lauren was trying to figure out, like, I think she was like, I want to work this takedown or something with Eddie, on Barb. So it was funny because it was like she had always seen that she was gonna fight Barb or something ridiculous like that. But that was an awesome fight. That was probably my favorite fight on the card. Lauren and Barb, they threw down. They went in there. Surprised they didn't get fight of the night. That was an awesome fight. But Eddie and Justin, I knew it was gonna be a brawl. I knew it was gonna be two super talented, super tough guys getting in there, getting at it. But I had to rep for my boy Eddie. And I'm glad he came out victorious. So it was a good night. It was a good night for Alvarez team.
What's the difference your fight? Was it like something that what's the difference between fighting like I won't say the amateurs, but the minor leagues versus being in the big show in the octagon with the bright lights in Las Vegas?
Oh, I thought it was gonna, going into it, I was super nervous when I got there fight week. I was, just overwhelmed. Got there, signing the posters, getting the gear, like things I'm not used to. And me and my coaches, when we go into fights, we like to go in with a real chill, like we just joke in the back, real calm. We cracking jokes, be going on each other in the back, like and just keep that kind of mellow energy going. I think that the nerves went away when I got to the arena on the day of the fight. Like they just started to go away. I went inside the cage. I was like, what, this is not that bad. I went inside the cage, felt it out. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do working here. And walking out, I just embraced it. I got a call from my buddy Rashad Coulter, who also fights in the UFC. He's a Dallas UFC fighter as
Mm-hmm.
well, and he just told me like, he called me the night before. We chopped it up for about an hour or so, and he was like, "Man, just take it in. Just know that you earned your way there. You deserve to be there. You're fighting for the best MMA promotion in the world. Just take it all in." And that's what I did. I just couldn't stop smiling. I felt really happy and surprisingly very relaxed. So it was great. It was a great debut over there in Vegas.
Yeah, being in a smaller venue, do you think that kind of helped with some of those butterflies that you may have gotten if it was,
Oh,
like in the T-Mobile, for example?
oh yeah. That definitely helped. I what I thought of too is, okay, it's a smaller arena, but when it's going to be a big show, how will I still be able to be as calm and as composed? And I think so. I hope so. But it definitely was a good, everything helped with the transition. Being on and being in front of the cameras and being used to doing all that, and then going into the UFC, fighting in a smaller venue. That everything helped. It helped for it to be seamless going from maybe smaller local promotions to the big show, the big stage.
That's awesome.
John, talk about the fight itself. It seemed like once you landed those two combos in the, like, I'm gonna say mid to late first round, it's kind of like you knew it was a matter of time you were gonna catch her with something. So you just stuck to your game plan until you caught her with something and got her out of there with that beautiful body shot.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to stay patient. I never want to go in, balls to the wall and get caught with something. That would be stupid of me, especially with the level of competition that I'm dealing with now. I know that Ariel is tough, and I know that she's southpaw. She's got a strong left hand. I felt her power with her body shots, her body kicks. So I definitely didn't want to rush in and get caught with anything. I knew that after the first round that I didn't turn up as much as I should have, as much as I could have. Not being hurt, not really being threatened by any of the offense. So after the second round, I was like, okay, it's time to get this done. And I started to see things opening up, with the inside leg kicks, and started to see that cross there. And that's why my coaches told me in the corner, stepping on that too, and let's go ahead and get out of here. So, the game plan was perfectly.
What under your belt? What do you think you stack up in the division? Not just the people on the show, but the whole 125 division, since it's so fresh. And what are some things you think you have to work on to get to the level and be the fighter that you want to be?
Oh yeah, so the rankings came out, and I was super excited. I was like, oh, I'm number 10, I'm top 10. But at the same time, like, it's a brand new division. Like, I went to train with I went to go with the Genesis with Montana Stewart that day, and we were kind of laughing at ourselves because we're like, oh, we're ranked and stuff, but then we're like, okay, but it's a brand new division, so that, things are gonna be moving around, and so after my fight, of course I was excited about my win, but even in the elevator going upstairs from the ground floor from the cage. And I was telling my coaches, like, okay, so what did you guys see? Like, what do I need to improve on? And they were like, just chill, like, enjoy your win. But, I don't want to sit comfortable with, I don't want to sit comfortable with my W. I want to learn from it just as much as you learn from taking L's. So, some things that I of course, I felt very comfortable. Been training with Montana Stewart, been training with Jen Frey, a lot of top girls in the area with my wrestling. So I felt very comfortable if the fight went there in this camp. I felt very comfortable. So I'm ready for the next opponent. The next opponent, she might threaten me more so in the clinch, on the ground. So just continuing to improve on that and blending my striking in, because that's my bread and butter. So that's one thing I want to do is just continue to grow in all areas.
Yeah, it's crazy like how many, rising stars, rising talent we have in the DFW area. We had Montana on last episode, and I thought it was kind of interesting. She said, in the show, she felt like she didn't really learn anything in the house, even though it was, a good experience for, her career. Like, more so, she said she got more out of being in front of cameras and being able to do interviews more than actually learning about fighting. I mean,
Training.
did you actually feel like you learned a lot as a fighter there, or was it just just the whole tough experience, the cameras, the lights, getting you ready for the bigger stage?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. Definitely being in front of the cameras, answering questions. That helped out a bit. Uh, but I feel like Eddie and Justin had different coaching styles. But Eddie was he was right on it. He at the tryouts he filmed us. He had a spar. He went over our sparring sessions with us, critiqued us. He was doing sprints, just all kinds of stuff, all kinds of tests like Navy SEAL type stuff. But at the end of the day, I really appreciated it because I was able to go back and see things that I had to alter in my game, and it helped a lot being there. I took a lot from being at the house as far as training because I got to work with coaches, like the Mark Henry and I had a stacked team. I had Sarge on my team, I had Barb Honchak on my team. For a brief period of time, I had Lauren Murphy on my team. We had a lot of variety, and I didn't really get a chance to train with the other girls. Not as much. I would have liked to do that, but at the end of the day, I took a lot from experience as far as training and the media aspect.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see. I mean, a whole new division getting started up. You get to the finale, you get the win. Have you been contacted about another fight yet?
Not yet. I had my manager. I just let him know. He was like, "How you feel?" I was like, "I didn't take any damage. I'm good." He was like, "Okay, I'll text McMahon right now." And I was like, "Okay, well, hold on a second." But a little bit of I've been in camp pretty much since they announced that they were going to do tryouts for stuff. Because then I had to try out for the I had to train for the audition. Then I had to train go into the house to get the tryouts. I'm not going to be first fight. I got there in first fight. So I'm glad that I was, I kept with it. I was doing good on my way. And then just the whole time I was there, and then coming back from stuff, the possibility that we were going to get a fight, was there. We got a fight. So I've been in camp for a ridiculous amount. But I want to keep my momentum going. I didn't take no damage, so I'm April. I'm good to go.
So obviously being in camp for so long, being ready to fight for so long. Are you one that has a lot to do? Like you cut a lot of weight, or is that a big part of your camp? Like staying on weight, or is that not an issue for you?
My weight cuts are. I don't really cut no more than maybe 15 pounds, a little bit more sometimes. Not but my cuts are very easy. I've never had like a weight cut. Some people are
You're cutting out a little bit there. We caught that you don't cut a lot of weight, but what else were you saying there?
No, I was just saying like I've never had like a dramatic life-changing weight cut before.
Gotcha.
My weight cut's pretty easy, and people have told me like, "Oh, your weight cut's so easy, you should drop to 115," and I'm like, I'm good. I'm good at 25. But luckily, fortunately, I stay pretty good on my diet. During camp and outside of camp as much. I splurge a little bit, but try not to get out of hand as far as that goes.
So you want to enjoy a holiday meal, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I miss Thanksgiving. Ooh, I was blown. I miss Thanksgiving. This kid, look, what I did. Let me tell you what I did. I froze me a plate. We had Thanksgiving in Long Beach, Texas, and I froze me a plate. And as soon as I came home from Vegas, I dropped my bags, didn't even open them, and I unthawed that plate, and it was bomb. So, yeah, I want to have Christmas and New Year's. Damn it.
Life of a fighter.
Who was see in an Austin car? Would that be something, or you care where it's at? You know, Austin be like a backyard fight.
What'd you say?
Would you rather fight in Austin on an Austin car coming up, or do you even care as long as you get a fight in the next couple months?
You know, I want to fight. I want to fight. I want to climb the ladder. I want to get to that belt. I've been talking about that belt since that early stoppage in my fight with Roxanne in the house. You know, I want to fight whoever, whenever it's gonna get me closer to that belt. So that Austin card would be pretty cool. I hope that you know, some of my local friends get to fight in that too, like James Big, you know. So you know, I'll be down for that. That's not gonna allow me to enjoy Christmas dinner though. But that's what you got to make sacrifices, I guess.
You got 2 months though. It's 2 months away from Christmas.
Huh? Oh yeah, you're right. That's enough time.
It's mid-February.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, awesome.
That's enough time for at least one meal. Come on now. Get one good meal in 2 months.
There you go. It won't hurt too much.
No, absolutely. But how big of a fan of the sport are you? Like, not just MMA, but like boxing. Like, are you the type of person that sits around and watches like fights whenever they're on TV, or you know, you have so much going on with your fighting? It's just like when you're not doing your stuff, you try to get away from it.
Oh, yeah. When I'm out of camp, I love watching fights. You know. Obviously, when I'm in camp, you know, I'm studying. We're studying film, you know, and our opponents and whatnot. You know, right now, now that the 125 division is opened up, you know, my Jamaican daddy, of course, you know, hit me up like, "Are you studying your competition? You need to make sure you're." Yes, Dad. Okay, Dad. So, yeah, I've been watching a little bit more film than normal, but it's like I want to say it's like 2 weeks out, and I'm just like MMA'd out, where I'm just like, okay, I just want to watch something totally irrelevant, like Family Guy or something like that, like Martin or something just goofy, so I can take my mind off of it, because sometimes it's like I just like eat, sleep, dream it, everything. So yeah, I like to watch other fighters, but I like to watch the UFC.
Nice. I gotta ask you about the AMA you did on Reddit. So are you a big Reddit person, or is that just kind of like a random thing that came up?
I'm not gonna lie, I had to ask my girlfriend what Reddit was.
Okay.
What Reddit was. So,
Okay.
but she was like, "Are you serious? It's like a huge like." I was like, "Oh, okay." But no, that after I found out a little bit more about it, I was like, "Oh, that's so awesome." And that was really cool, getting to interact with the fans and you know. Just live like that. That was pretty dope. I like that. I want to do that again. That was cool. I was surprised. I thought, I was worried. I was like, man, I'm gonna get some weird questions, man. I hope I'll get some weird questions. I'll be like,
I'll be honest with you. I was actually surprised at the integrity of the questions that were asked for you, because usually they go a little bit more left field.
Oh, do they? Look,
Oh yeah.
Next time I might be thrown off. Then
Yeah.
thanks for the.
Yeah, just be ready. I think they were, you know, more lenient on you because, you know, maybe they don't know enough about you yet, but
yeah.
Once they keep seeing you and they're more comfortable with you, then you'll start getting like, oh, whoa, what? What?
Okay. Bet.
No, that's cool that you did that though. I mean, those are pretty big things. You know, a lot of fighters like to do that kind of stuff, so that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it was dope. I loved it.
Are you still teaching, Shana?
Yeah, I've taken a little bit of time off. Took a couple weeks off, you know, to prepare fully for this camp. You know, I'm used to teaching full time and fighting, you know, and fighting in camp, training for camps, training for fights. So, you know, this time I wanted to spend a little bit more time and focus. I mean, considering it was the big show. So I've been taking a couple weeks off. Still have a couple more weeks, and then I'm right back in it. But you know, I'm trying to get to that point in my career where, you know, I could just train and fight, and that's it. So, y'all pray.
so you need to come on knockouts so you can go on and just be a full-time UFC fighter.
Yeah, I need some of those fight bonuses. I said I'm gonna come in the cage and do some cartwheels or something. I'm trying to get one of the fight so I can be stepping here.
Did they ever give y'all any for stoppages on the show? Did y'all ever get paid off that?
Yeah, they did, and I was real salty because I was on the other end of that. I was like, they were asking about finishing bonuses, and I was like, I was sitting here kind of salty, but unfortunately, I didn't get one on this card. This card was amazing. The finale. You know, everybody kept getting finishes and the calf slicer and all kinds of, perform in the liver shot and arm bars all over the place. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know if my second round stoppage is gonna get that bonus, but I got the W, so I'm happy with that.
That's gotta be
cartwheels in the cage. I'm getting that getting that bonus for sure.
That's got to be kind of disheartening when you go out there, get a finish, and then it's like you watch the rest of the fights, and then you just like, there goes my bonus. It's going away.
Y'all need to chill. Can we get some decisions? Like, can we get some? Everybody came to bang. So I was like, I was proud too, and Dana White. It was at the weigh-ins. He came in the room and gave us a speech and hyped us up, and I think that's what it was. Because he was like, man, there's some bonuses out there. Y'all need to go out and get them. I was like, yeah. But I didn't get it. It's okay. Hopefully there'll be many more to come and many more opportunities.
Absolutely. Hopefully we get some news about your next fight soon. Maybe if it's that Austin card. We got to let you enjoy the holiday meal, first off.
For sure.
We'll see you back in action and get back in contention for a bonus. Because, I think a lot of people were impressed with what you did that night, and they want to see more of it. I mean, especially at the start of a new division, to go out there and get a finish like that is pretty huge. So,
thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Are you going to slip it there to make your announcement? Whoever you fight next, wherever you fight?
What'd you say?
Can you come back on the show, make your announcement? Whoever you fight, wherever you fight, when you get that call, you get that call from Sean Shelby, you come on the show, let us know.
Yeah, if you can say my name right there, I'll make sure.
Shana. I haven't got her on this whole podcast. What you talking about?
Yeah.
See,
people don't know.
They don't know.
Y'all, first ones I call. How about that?
There's some things that don't make the editing floor, so it's like it gets chopped off.
There you go. It's like it never happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was some creative editing going on in the Stuff House too. So.
Oh yeah.
You know all about it.
I had to then edit out my feet in the bathroom stall when Lauren and Eddie were getting into it though. They decided not to edit that out. I'm in there in the bathroom stall. You can see my feet underneath. I'm looking embarrassed.
Oh my goodness. I gotta go back and look for that.
I was hoping maybe nobody would notice it, and then somebody tweeted it and circled my feet, and I was like,
oh man, somebody called you out. I'm gonna have to go back and find that now because I missed that part. So.
Oh shit. Never mind. I don't think it's there.
No, it's not there? It's not there? All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Shana, I appreciate the time coming on the Slip and Dip podcast to talk about your experience with Tough and that Tough finale win. Look forward to talking to you again soon, especially when we get that new fight coming up. I want to talk about that. I wish you help break it down and, wish you some good luck. So, yeah, thanks for coming on and spending some time with us, working through the technical difficulties and some mispronunciations. But,
my fault too.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
We good, Shana.
Family cool.
Yes, sir. The DFW people got to stick together, so you know what it is.
Already.
I know you got a two-piece. I want to be like Ariel, hold my stomach. I'm good.
I'm not playing with you.
Hey, actually, you know what? We're all in the same area. Next time, it's a possibility that you and Montana are going to end up being on the same card. I'm just saying that's a possibility. I kind of pay attention to how the UFC does things. It's a possibility. Yeah. So maybe, next time, hopefully, if it doesn't end up working out that way, we can come out to the gym, get something with you guys. We're just down the road.
Hey, that'd be tight. Yeah, let's do that. That's what's up.
Cool. We'll make it happen.
Cool.
All right. We'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you again.
See you, Sean.
Hey, Kendrick.